class at Stanford is ready for registration. We have a hangout over there, and you can register that class. The cost is like $290, and you can put on your resume. Stanford University training. If you want to have that on your resume, go take the class. Class is on November the 3rd and the 10th. And then in the class, we'll have a group discussion. We'll go through step by step. I'll give you all my 2-minute story on, what did I mean about that, right? Yeah. Wow, 谢谢. That's great.
Let's have fun. So could you just draw the first winner, Elizabeth, over here, please?
Oh, someone from Cisco, Venkat.
Hey.
Hey, Venkat. I'll sign the book afterwards. Okay.
So you grab on the book and you come to Elizabeth later, but we want you to come and grab the book.
Yeah, come over.
Come and get the book.
Wait, does he want a picture? Photo one.
Dan can take a picture.
Okay.
Start branding.
So what do you do for Cisco? Let's see.
I'm an engineering manager.
Engineering manager.
Yeah, senior engineer manager. I hope you're gonna make it to the CEO of the Cisco. You have a chance because 75% of Cisco employees are going to be from India. So if you cannot make CEO, make the EVP. Okay?
Wonderful. Okay, all right.
So I have a question.
You have another question? There you go. Go ahead.
Okay.
You mentioned in your slide that
Could you just state your name and what
Oh,
you
I'm
work
sorry.
for so
I'm
it's
sorry.
still better?
I'm Sumit Ramchandani from Macy's.
Oh, Macy's.
Yeah.
Man, I buy most of my stuff from Macy's. Everything here is Macy's.
Thank you. My wife does too.
Oh, okay, great.
You spoke about looking 2 levels up, right, in
Yes.
our career. What happens in a case when you're not quite aligned with your manager's approach, where you don't think that the people up top are necessarily your inspiration? Is that the time when you mentioned that you should look for another job?
Okay, let me ask you this question. At the end of your life, is your manager going to take care of you when you're sick? Are you married to your manager? So you don't have to go through divorce. Just find a different manager if you cannot change. Because the fundamental thing is you cannot change your manager. The reason we said understand your manager, try to think from his box. If you cannot adjust yourself, change your manager. There's no way to change your manager. As simple as that.
So fire the manager, right?
Yeah, divorce him.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, question here? Mike, wait for the microphone, please.
My name is Stacy, and I'm a free agent right now, so I'm in between opportunities. But when you mentioned if you're not in alignment and you quit without a new opportunity, how would you recommend to overcome that in an interview so you're not stigmatized that you've now become not employed or unemployed?
Okay. Actually, Stacy, that's a very good question. A lot of times people say, I quit. And I ran into some lady said, I took a personal sabbatical. And what she did is she said, I took 1 year off. And she was very proud about it. I did some traveling, I wrote some blog, I took my 2-year-old to India and also Southeast Asia. I said, wow, are you nuts? And I went to Burning Man, all those kind of things. She was, yeah, she did a hotel at Burning Man, and she did a palace from India because of the experience she learned. So what I'm saying is your confidence. If you feel like, oh, I don't have a job, I'm begging for a job, you will never get a job. So if you think, I took some time off and I did something on my own, either you try to start your own company or you try to volunteer at a small organization, do something. Do not sit there and look for a job. Go to an organization, try to volunteer, and even go to a startup, just say, I want to volunteer to help you out. Get some experience, get yourself occupied at the same time, Show the world that you're not begging for a job. And don't feel and, you know, any kind of less confident because you don't have a job.
I'm saying when you are an employer,
Mm-hmm.
not necessarily searching for a job, but if your reason for leaving was to find alignment somewhere else without having an opportunity up front,
Mm-hmm.
you're saying
It's
take
okay.
that approach as well? Okay.
It is okay as long as you're financially sound. Because you should never put yourself in a position that you cannot support yourself. As long as you are okay financially, you take as many months as you want, go travel, do things differently, try to explore your next opportunity. It's fine. But if you think, you know, I'm not sure about the financially I can last for 24 months, don't do that. And then stay with your job, find the next opportunity.
Elizabeth, if I may just add to that, I think one thing that, you know, and we do that a lot here at TIE because a lot of our members are in between jobs and careers. So one good thing is that, you know, as Elizabeth points out, just find something that interests you. Just offer your service, just volunteer. Because that experience itself is valuable because you can explain to your potential employer that, you know, I just, you know, took some time off and I've been volunteering. And for the positioning, you know, for a lot of the people who are kind of in between job or, you know, and they've been looking, I said, it's quite okay to develop a lingo. It's called, I'm self-employed with a deferred compensation. Okay, that means you have no income. Okay, so you are self-employed with a deferred compensation. That's okay, but you gotta feel confident. Don't feel sorry for yourself. No pity. I think that is the main thing that we should keep in mind. Okay, we have another question. We got the mic. There you go.
Hello, I'm Jagrut Sharma. I'm a senior consultant with Ernst & Young. I have mainly a technical background. So, to your point, when you try to be proactive and offer your services to work on different kind of projects, personally what has happened is that you do many different kind of things and you can basically be plugged anywhere. And you enjoy that kind of work. What's the best way to actually take all those different skills that you have accumulated and try to move on to more managerial type of work rather than being a great executor? What's the best strategy? Because that's something that I'm struggling with as to how to find a specialization when you have a broad range of experiences.
You know what, sometimes it's really sad thing that you have too many opportunities because you have too many roads to go. And some people just have a very narrow path. They don't have other alternatives. So when you do have that, look at your passion. Which area you think that you are most passionate about. A second factor is which area will have rapid development in the next 5 years in terms of technology. And then choose a company that is on a growth path. Doesn't matter how big the size. The thing is, if you are passionate about something that is not going to grow significantly in the next 5 years, and you're not going to expect this significant growth in your career as well. So focus. Using those 3 questions, filter out things. Right? Usually the second question, like which area will grow significantly in the next 5 years, you cannot just say my specialty is on mobile, at the same time as the social, and then you should do social mobile. You see that?
So does that mean saying no to all the other opportunities?
Yes. You have to focus. If you cannot focus, let's put it this way. We use the same amount of energy to lit up this room. You turn off the light, nothing happened. But if you use the same amount of energy to generate laser, you're going to burn a hole on that table. Tomorrow that hole is still there. So what you need to do is channel your energy, be focused. Focus on the areas that you are passionate about, that has a lot of growth potential. So focus, be focused. And that means, just like if you want to get married, you cannot date 10 girls at the same time. Expect that they are going to give you a great reward, marry you. Focus on one person. Your true love. Get married, have kids. When you have kids, you get promoted to father.
Very good, great. Okay, you have a question here, okay?
Yeah, my name is Gopal. I work for AVG Technologies as a vice president there. I do this kind of mentoring. Just wanted to pick up more ideas here. One thing I saw in your step number 3 is that keep modifying your goals. I don't teach that to my mentees because first of all, if they are setting a goal, it has to be set on the stone. They have to put a lot of thought before they write down, this is my goal. And if you let them keep modifying, it becomes a lateral movement. Some people keep modifying. They never set a goal and put effort towards that. So even the way I teach is just before you set a goal, 3-year, 5-year, or your life goal, that is the first time you start with the life goal and then you work backwards, is you set it on the stone. That's going to happen. It happened to many people. So that was my opinion.
Let me say, I agree with you. I think the goal should be calibrated, and not like keep modifying the goal. Say, I want to become, let's just say I want to become a VP in 5 years. Well, in 1 year I want to be a first-line manager. But the modification, the calibration could be, it could be a manager at large company, small company, and it could be a technical leader. That's a different kind of a modification calibration. But if you say, you know what, I keep modifying, I'm going to be a senior engineer next year, you probably will not become a VP in 5 years, right? That's kind of a calibration. Calibration is like 15 degrees left and right, not like I'm changing 180 or 270 degrees.
So you're saying be realistic. I mean,
Be
calibration
realistic.
basically means just because you set the goal, and maybe you set the goal, but also you got to be aware of the surroundings and opportunities, and so kind of calibrate in the realism. Okay, so
Yeah.
I think we saying the same thing, and focus that you talked about in our previous question. So I think what you were teaching, hey, be focused, but also I think she's saying be realistic and in calibration. So don't be so hard nosed that about whatever you want to do that all you're doing is just disappointed to yourself most of the time as opposed to succeeding. So you got to be practical about it.
Yeah, for example, the person wanted to be a VP in 5 years. He set his goal to be a manager in this year, but our goal wouldn't give him a promotion. I said, go find different companies. So now he found a smaller company. He got his manager position. He calibrated his goal.
Okay, we have a question over there now, please. Another lady.
Hello, my name is Nidhi Bhatnagar. I do marketing analytics work as a consultant.
Oh.
And your talk was excellent. Really, really great points about virtual thinking, where you want to be, branding yourself. Everything was great. I also like the idea of finding a mentor. But my problem has been, how do you approach the mentor? Why would they mentor you?
Okay, that's a really great question. Why did they mentor you? And how do you approach them? Do not walk to the person and say, would you be my mentor? If he has nothing to do, he probably look at you and say, do I look like this person or not? Maybe yes. So usually I would say, all my mentors really became my mentor. Most of my mentors became a mentor because I first offered service to them. And at IBM, when Josephine Chen, she's currently IBM fellow, and she was the VP of research. She said, I want to start an Asian American network. Who wants to volunteer? Everyone looked at each other. I said, I would. And then I started to go to her, talked about the events. And one day, she became my mentor. I never even asked her that, would you please be my mentor? So it's the engagement itself. Let's see, if you want Vish to be a mentor, you come over, volunteer to help in time, and collaborate with him with some events. He will mentor you during that process. Within the company, I told you something called a reverse mentoring. You start that process, set up meetings with your executive, teach them about the particular product, do a product demo, and then tell them an insight about a particular account. On your side, if you're a consultant, offer some free services to the people that you would like to build a relationship. And then when you start, always gauge first. And if the other side doesn't respond, that person is not your mentor. If the other person responds back, and you feel like, you know what, we have energy, we have a synergy. The person you feel like you have a synergy, you care about each other. Those are the people who are your mentors. Like Pat, when she had surgery, and I took a whole week off, I went and took care of him. And I took care of her. My neighbor, who had the open heart surgery, and I went to the hospital, took care of him. So you need to give. I keep emphasizing on giving, and do not always think about taking. Think about the giving first.
This is so powerful. I mean, even the Thai, because this is one of the lessons that we teach a lot of people seeking advice and mentorship, because we have so many people who are willing to mentor and advise. But we tell all the people, when you come over here, when you meet somebody, a lot of people in networking, they go, well, I'm so-and-so, and I'm looking for this, and I want that. Never start with that. Engage in a conversation. I'm so-and-so, I'm doing this, what do you do for a living? What do you work? You have to get that person to engage, and then, the chemistry kind of develops. So this is a very important thing, but first you offer to give something, and then things you will get. The one thing about mentoring, since that's one thing so dear to us, every individual is capable of being a mentor, and every individual is also capable of receiving mentorship. So it doesn't really matter what station in life you are, whether you are a senior executive or just aspiring, just professional, just starting out fresh from college, you all can mentor. Go to colleges, okay? The freshman class, you just sign mentors, and who are the mentors? The sophomore kids. So this whole mentorship is always exist, okay? But people just have to look for it. A lot of people who really want to help you and help you succeed and grow. So very good question, you guys actually.
There's a Chinese saying. I will agree with you 100%. There's a Chinese saying, when the student's ready, the teacher will appear.
Yes.
See, if you're looking for a mentor, when you're ready to learn.
It's an Indian saying too.
Okay,
There you
great.
go.
It's probably the universal, the
Good
human
luck.
being.
Hopefully you'll find one tomorrow, okay? All right, here we go. Thank you. A question over there?
Hi, this is Navleen, and I'm a software developer in NetApp. I read somewhere hope is the only stronger thing than fear, and one day I really hope to overcome fear. Do you have any tips on that?
What kind of a fear do you have?
Fear to approach anybody, fear to step out of your box, those kind of fear.
Oh, I see. Well, when I was young, I was a really quiet person. Yeah, nobody believed in that. Seriously, they always thought I like to talk to people. Yeah, the more people in the audience, the more excited I get. I just developed that later on. At the very beginning, I was shy because the fear was from the very beginning of the life. You're shy, and also you're not sure. And also you want to be perfect. So if you can give up being perfect, give up on pleasing others, you will lose the fear, right? Why should you be fear? So you pick some strangers in the mall, talk to them, and comment on. One thing is just say, look at Stacy. Stacy, I really like your hair. Then what is Stacy gonna tell you? Go away? Definitely she will say thank you. And I say, I love your hair. Your hair color is so pretty. I wish I have this long hair. Start with something that is beautiful and try to tell people that, if she said, okay, thank you, that's fine. And then you can, if she doesn't respond, that's fine too. So practice on the strangers.
Stacy, you really have good hair.
Now you can go and come sit next to Stacy. There you go.
Yeah, come
There's a
over.
chair available for you.
So it's
Okay.
okay not to be perfect.
What?
And I will say that if you read my book, there's something called a star. Everyone's a star, meaning you have weakness, you have strengths. You should be proud of your strengths. Forget about your weakness. Otherwise, you become a ball. You become nobody. Okay?
Wonderful. Okay, let's have one more drawing,
Yes.
and then we're going to take some more questions. Okay, we'll come to you. Okay. Let's see if we can find another lucky winner. It could be Stacy or.
Vasu.
Let me see here. Oh,
Vasu.
Vasu, Mada Bush, Bushi.
What do you do?
Bushi. Well, Bushi, yeah. Oh, congratulations. Yeah, there you go. Here's your book.
Okay.
Yeah,
Vasu.
don't get it, okay? Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you. All right, so we have. Okay, so question was over there. You got the mic? Yeah.
So my name is Raghu. I just started my own venture a few weeks ago. I really like the slide on the discover yourself. I think that's the second or third. For the longest time, for me, the passion versus practicality was a problem. I could have potentially been more successful in my career if I went with the practical option of keep growing in your own area. But I went after the certain things that I wanted to do in life, which are again, one of the people here mentioned, spread my wings and all that. So what that affected in my career is I didn't grow vertically at the pace with peer pressure and my peers were growing. So my question for you is, in this passion versus practicality, would you advise it's okay to take a step back? I've seen people like doing engineering for 15 years and going back into associates as in investment banking after an MBA. Just realize that they wanted to do something else in their life or is it okay to take a step back and take a step down, etc. And then you will truly be successful in your career at a later time.
If that's something that you're truly passionate about, yes, why not? Sometimes it's a really pity to stuck in something you don't like. Just like getting married and with facing someone.
Stuck with your life.
Yeah, facing someone like, oh my God, why I'm married with this person. But it's your career. It's not like divorcing. And you can change. Try it out. Maybe because when you take a step back, try it out. Volunteer first. Try it out. See if you truly like it. A lot of times you thought, and that's my passion. When you work on that, you know, my God, this is so boring. I have to look at those charts every single day, memorize all those trends. I have to deal with my customers. I hate those customers. Try it out before you jump. Okay.
Very good advice. Okay, question over there.
Hi, I'm Kathleen Niemitz. I'm a financial advisor, but I spent 22 years in technology, both here in the United States and working abroad. And one thing I observed working with different cultures is like Americans, I think we approach relationships as more disposable things, whereas in other cultures, often a relationship, even with a colleague, can last for a lifetime. I've had that experience myself here, and so when I find a company like the one I work for, where I feel the relationships are so solid, and I have a high level of trust with people, it almost holds me back because I don't want to let go of that. It's hard to find here. And so I don't know if you could speak a little bit about that, and just trust building and relationships and knowing how tightly to hold on to people that you meet along the way.
You know what? This is a really, really complicated and a challenging question. I'm not saying this is a great question because this is a very complex question, because building a trust, as you mentioned, is culture related, personality, company culture, and this is society culture. These are all convoluted, right? And when you do find some group that are tightly integrated together, that you all trust each other, you will find out those groups move together, they migrate. Like bird, that they have a pretty tight connection. they migrate from a company to a company to a company. I do have a group of people who work with me very closely. They follow me to different companies. And we found out that we're super, super productive. We plug in. At the same time, I found out our group is flexible and open enough to take in new members, right? I would say that at the same time you feel like you try to hold it on. At the same time, force yourself to open up to new people, new relationship, because you have to renew it. You have to add new blood and new ideas to your own group. And then maybe you think about, can I apply the same kind of a way to build trust beyond this group? Right? Think about that. Try to purposely expand it.
Yeah, I think the only thing that I will just add to that one is because, see, when it comes to relationship, so you may want to kind of take a look at a professional relationship versus social. A lot of us, like I have my friends, long time friends that I went to school with, friends that I go watch baseball game with, friends I do other kind of stuff, and they were the last people to say, Vish, can I come and work with you in your firm because you are a venture capitalist and I want to be, because they know better. They know that they have no qualification and they're not going to embarrass me by just asking me that kind of question because the relationships were trusting. So that's what you have to, you need the social, relationship, very, very important because after all, we're all human beings and we live, we're social animals, okay? You got to live in a society. So the trust that you build on a social level is different that you will build in a professional level. Like as she talking about professional, like your boss, you can leave your boss because your boss is not caring for you or not interested in your life or your career. You can say, well, I'm going to go find another boss. But a lot of the social relation, because that's what really gives you the strength, the nurturing, and you can, sometimes the other thing also happens that, and this is another myth about mentoring. Sometimes people who have no clue about the business that you're in, and you really talk to them and share your business or professional issue, you'll be surprised what kind of genius or advice comes from them. They know nothing about what you do, but they care so much about you, and then you pose a question, and they can say, well, have you thought of that, or how about this, how about that? You say, gosh, this was a very valuable advice. So you need to make sure that you maintain both the personal fabric of social relationship as well as the professional relationship or references and networks. I think they both have to really work together.
So this is like a cross-pollination and a gene mutation kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's when you have the greatest discovery and invention, right?
That's right.
Yeah, try different things.
Okay.
Hi, in step 4, you
Oh, wait a minute, I thought you were the HR of this Axiom company, her company. Are you asking her a question in public?
Yes,
Okay, all right.
I figure if I have the question, other people might too.
Okay. There we go, I see, okay.
In step 4, you mentioned in branding yourself, 7 words you use to describe and brand yourself. What are your 7, or on who you want to become?
Right.
What are your 7 words?
For mine?
Yes.
I'm like, my 7 words are pretty simple. The senior executive and executive mentors. Something like, I think I wrote it in the book, like a technical executive and executive mentors. So that's who I am.
Thank you.
Great. Okay, let's have one more drawing, Elizabeth. So why don't you draw another lucky winner? Because we're going to, pretty soon we're going to go in about 5 minutes, we're going to go and Elizabeth is going to sign the books and you can grab your own books.
Niraj, Dr. Niraj and, how do you say that? Hata, from Ask.
Neeraj Bhatnagar, PhD.
Yes.
Neeraj, that's you?
Yeah.
All right,
Doctor.
congratulations. Yeah, great job, yeah.
I hope you're going to be, whether you're going to win the Nobel Prize or you're going to be the CEO of Ask. Congratulations.
Okay, do you have another question? Oh, okay, then, okay, you have a mic? Yeah, okay, let's wait till the mic shows up. Thank you. Senior Director of...
Senior Director.
Hi, my name is Jyoti Raju. I'm Engineering Manager at Cisco Systems. My question is with respect to a lot of middle managers. The challenge facing them is conversion from a manager to a leader. Do you have some tips regarding that?
Well, I think conversion from manager to a leader, right? To executive, to a leader. I think the one paradigm shift you need to go through is to elevate your thinking. Yes, you're gonna look like an executive, you can talk like an executive. The more important thing is to think like an executive. It is force yourself to think, you know, if this issue comes up, what's on John Chambers' mind, right? What will be on his EVP's mind? What's on the HR VP's mind? What's on your VP's mind? Go ask your VP, say, you know, what's John Chambers' top priorities? Force yourself to think that level. That's the only way you can think like executive. That's the only way you can break your plateau to jump to the next level. So think like an executive. And then you can act like an executive. But don't act like an executive before you become an executive. But just show people you can think, you can talk, you can look like one.
Very good. Okay, do you have another question? Okay, so I have one question for you.
Wow.
Yeah, because this is one of the common questions that I hear, and I just wanted to kind of hear your response. And this common question is, a lot of people, you know, who are professionals in the companies, and they're really working very hard. Good work ethic, working hard, and their fear or concern is, well, I'm working very hard, but I'm not too sure if the senior executives notice me. So, because if, you know, I mean, I hear that, you know, quite often. So what would a professional, I'm not too sure, some fear could be in the board because, well, I'm doing good work, but I'm not too sure I'm being noticed because my company is too big and too, you know, sort of, you know, broad and all that kind of stuff. So what would they do? You know, I know you got the answer, maybe they answered it, but, you know, what advice would you have for that kind of, you know, person?
So, you know, when I first started my career, I was at IBM, right? It's a huge company. You know, how did you get your executive to notice you? I never thought about that, by the way. At that time, it was too early of my career. But look back. I think I volunteered to start that engineering, Asian American network that embraced all Asians, including Indian and Chinese. And what I did is I brought a lot of the leaders within the company to speak to the engineers, like our IBM fellows, our lab directors, and the VPs from East Coast. I asked them to speak to our group. Mike Fonda, at that time, another day I had dinner, and the next one is the Mike Fonda. You know, he's a congressman. I said, Mike, remember we met at 1997. I invited him over to talk. So when you get into this organization and you start to do organized talks, you get noticed. A second thing is to speak in your user conference. When I was at IBM, I talked at the summit, I organized technical summit, I presented our technical conference, and we did filing patent. All those things give you great visibility. So it's both organizational and the technical side.
So just get out, get around, get fresh air, you know, maybe people notice you. Right?
Yeah, and all, you know, Cisco system, go there at 6:30 and then see if there's any executive there. And be the training partner for that.
Training partner, there you go, yeah. Okay, any other questions? So I have another question for you. This is about the reverse mentoring. You know, I think you mentioned the passing. I'm not too sure how many people really understood that concept. This is really a very, very powerful concept. I want you to kind of elaborate a little bit, but you know, simply stated, what happens is really large companies. You are a young, hotshot professional, and you look at your senior executives, and you have complaints. Well, you know, this person doesn't know about that, and doesn't know. You heard them make a speech, and all you busy about making fun of them. But you know, well, but these people are, you know, past their prime, you know, beyond, you know, they don't understand the latest stuff I'm doing, etc., etc. So this is a very common complaint that happens. And the reverse mentoring simply, and I want you to kind of elaborate a bit more about the concept is simply as that. So when you take a look at the person, rather than dismissing person, well, okay, you are, 45, 50 years old, your engineering skills are pretty poor, you haven't kept up. Go and, sit down and, just share what you have learned, okay? That's what, because they are, show them about social media use, okay? Or whatever, they may not be good at PowerPoint, so they may not be good at whatever it is, but this is really something, these things really works wonders. So,
reverse mentoring. Reverse mentoring meaning you're at a lower level, you're mentoring someone who are at a much higher level as you are. Mainly it's not on the leadership skill, but maybe on the technical side or the customer insight side. If you're in the customer support and professional service, you could just tell them, when you run into the person next to the water, in the bathroom, or the elevator, tell them, hey, I have a very interesting story to tell you about the client. Or this is the cool feature we have. And I'll send you 2 minutes of a demo. Or you say, if you have time, I'll give you a 15 minutes demo. Do not drag along. If you promise 15 minutes, leave at the 13 minutes. I promise you to do a 45 minutes talk, I will give you 38 minutes. Right? Because people are like, okay, I'm going to be tired. I'm afraid that you're going to drag on more than 15 minutes. Even the person wants to keep you longer, then that's their decision. Do not ever say, I want to make 5 minutes, tell you something in 5 minutes. If you need 10, do 10, 15, but get out of there. That's what I did at IBM. I have this monthly meeting with my VP. She said 15 minutes. I got up there 10 minutes every time. Be brave. And tell them the inside about the product features, like eye candies. Show them, this is the feature, this is why we built this feature. Show them how to use it. Quickly, get out there.
Okay, great. I think look like we have come to the end. Let's have 2 more drawings, and then we're going to take you for the book signing.
Jagrat Sharma
Oh,
from Ernst Young.
He told me to ask a question. Right.
Okay.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Sure.
There you go.
Congratulations.
And one more, shake it up, mix it up a little bit. There you go, yeah. We need a woman to win.
Really?
Yeah. Although we may have to get a 6th book.
Okay.
Okay.
This must be.
Must be a woman?
Kathleen Namatz.
See, there you go. All right. See, we want a woman. Congratulations.
Financial advisor, right?
Yeah.
And you're enjoying your group of people that you have a great time with. Keep enjoying them. It's good to meet you.
Thank you.
Okay, would you all please join me again one more time to...
Oh, thank you. Got it. I got it. Next time I see you. Oh. Hi, Paige. Coming back to time. Yeah.
That's for everybody. So, like, I was sitting with my...
Thank you.